this is I am recording now because it is just the two of us. This is a dry run, and the others will be able to see, and just us. No worries. You can do anyhow by YouTube listings. I know how YouTube works, so there's nothing about this that any of you have anything to worry about. And for
Okay.
the record, I've given up drinking the really bad Nescafe, and I'm now drinking really bad Screwdriver. So,
I
cheers.
wondered if that was, well, screwdriver. Okay. Or
I know,
margarita.
and you know, I've had like 3 hours sleep in the past 72 hours, so it is. Um, the movie Requiem for a Dream. Um, a movie I wish I had never watched. I assume you've seen it.
No.
Um, good for you. Uh, yeah, obviously you know my brother Mark. Mark
Hmm.
died obviously from suicide, but his addiction was heroin. Requiem for a Dream is all about what heroin addiction does for you.
I never knew why
Never knew why
your
what.
brother. I
Oh,
didn't know about the heroin.
oh, on the things that I never knew why. My earliest memory, you'll appreciate this. My earliest memory of Mark going down a bad road was um, I am in the front seat of a station wagon. Mark is in the back being held down by uh, Principal Wayman and Blackledge. So they had to hold him down as we're being driven up to the Vinton Hospital. I made this comment to my sister Miriam, and Miriam's like, I was like, this is my memory, but my memory was mom was in the passenger seat, so who was driving the car? And Miriam's like, I was. I was like, okay. So in ninth grade in Benton Community, what drug could he have received in 1976, 77 that would have him go that tweaked out? Not asking for a friend. Like, do you even know what drug was available back then?
I have no idea. I have no idea. Hey,
We,
I was probably oblivious to it being there,
yeah,
but
well,
you know, hey,
um,
it's ubiquitous, right? It's everywhere.
yeah.
Somewhere, and I can't tell you when, maybe the 80s, and I left Benton in 87.
No,
No.
you
I left
didn't.
Benton in
You
85.
left Benton in 85. I know
In
when you left
85.
Benton.
And I think even while I was there, maybe it was while I was at Cedar Rapids. So there was a time when Time Magazine was running a story about the drug trade and the drugs going on in Marshalltown, Iowa,
Hmm.
because they were setting things up in the
I,
cornfields.
I remember exactly.
And
I actually remember the story you're talking about. Keep going.
okay, the point being that it was everywhere. Marshalltown, Iowa was in the middle of nowhere. Drugs were in the middle of nowhere. They had to be at Benton Community. I guess I was stupid and oblivious to what was there. I'm not stupid, just
No,
oblivious.
oblivious, but you know, we all we all have addictions, okay? And uh and so I am well aware of my addictive personality. And it's why a really good friend of mine, also Benton Community grad, won't say his name because he's not on the anyhow, was like, Steve, you can never do cocaine because
Mm.
if you do, you're gonna be broke in a week. You cannot do cocaine. And
You
so I'm
couldn't
like,
do it once.
okay.
And you
Um,
took that to heart.
yeah. And because I know I have an addictive personality and I have a brother who got addicted to heroin. That's a drug I never want to do. Although when mom died, okay, okay. When mom died, mom was on heroin, to be clear. The medical version of heroin. And there's the patch you put on your back where it gives it to you over a couple of days. And so when mom died, Miriam and I were like, what do we do with this? And so one of her besties was working at whatever nursing home there is in Vinton. And so we literally took all of mom's pain medication and she gave it to her for what, use it however you need to use it, you know?
Probably
Um,
dispose of or personal use.
no, I mean, there are people who literally can't afford to have those patches.
I
And
wonder if they could dispense at a facility.
well,
They track all that pretty.
our attitude was
Not
we're
your
giving
problem.
it to a good cause.
Yeah.
But in all truth, I wish I kept one of them behind. I wish I had.
No, you don't. Anybody who can be as addicted to Coca-Cola as you are.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So, uh,
Yeah, yeah. Well,
um,
I think you're right. I think we all have addictions of some kind.
yeah. And I try to get my students to think about this because for most of them, their addiction is this.
Mhm.
And uh, know what your addictions are.
Well,
And
and that's true with me too, because I have a desktop. I've got an old desktop over here that we never use because it got to the point where it couldn't be updated, right? They do that. There was
right.
not enough memory in that machine. We
Yep.
haven't gotten rid of it. I need to find a place to get rid of it for 10 years now. We got this one. I have an iPad that I've kind of graduated from. I do have a laptop that I use occasionally because I needed it. I needed it to use for judging a contest because it was all going to be web-based.
Right.
I had to be there. Phone is too small to type on, so and I do like the laptop. But honestly, I do so much stuff on my phone.
Yeah.
Long text, long email.
One of my former students is a realtor in the UAE. This is all he uses. Oh, Cujo says hi. Anyhow, this is all he uses to do his job. Nothing else.
Then he doesn't need a computer because you
Nope.
can do it all here. By the way, one of my pet peeves, he is a realtor. He's not a realtor, he's a realtor.
So wait a minute.
Real
Did I mispronounce it?
Yes, you said realtor. It's a
Okay.
realtor. Realtor. Just like his business is Realtree, right? Realtry, Realtree. He's a realtor.
Okay.
And it's jewelry, not jewelry. Jewelry.
Okay,
It's
I
a
got that
jeweler.
one. I know how to do that one
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Um, uh,
Realtor.
you really need to work here because my British friends would love you
Because I'm picky about that, because I was an English teacher.
because they are no, the Brits are the most pedantic people on the face of the earth.
Pedantic. I'm just being a teacher. So you'll remember that forever.
Yeah,
You know,
I will. And so anyhow, the guy who takes care of my house in the United States is one of those people. I'm not even going to say the word because I'm not going to say it right. But I will let him know that I've been pronouncing his profession wrong forever. I will let him know, and he'll be very happy to know that I've seen the light.
and we'll hope he does it right because he may not if he's a good Iowa
He may
guy.
not. He may not. He probably doesn't either because he was born and raised. Anyhow, he probably doesn't
He
do it
may say
right.
really just realtor, realtor.
Anyhow,
Okay.
Ollie Dent, who I know Kelly and John Rich know. Anyhow, yeah. So people who will see this video know who might really. I'm not saying it. Not yeah. He'll know the guy who's taking care of my house. There you go.
Do you have a house in Iowa?
Yeah.
In Cedar
Southwest
Rapids.
side, near Southwest side near where Westdale was.
Okay.
Because I was working at Hamilton Kaplan, and all my life I've had a long commute, and so I thought having a job where you easily can walk to work, 5 minute walk to work, I thought that would be great. For the record, it's not, because you need some time to process your day, and the fact that I was so short actually made it worse. So, anyhow, I get but I bought a house on the southwest side, whatever, blah blah blah. Um, uh, And yeah. Oh, really did something I did on Facebook earlier today. They want to pass some bill. They want to limit to 1.75% the education allowance in Iowa for the coming year.
That's the
The
allowable growth.
Democrats
Yes.
the Democrats are asking for 5%. And the comment I made below, or the comment I made on this was on the Gazette thing or KCRG. Anyhow, one of those two. I said, um, I bought my house in 2004, and shortly after I bought the house, College Community had a bond issue that would raise my property tax. I voted yes without question because I value education. I'm a childless man, happily childless, but I voted yes because this is what's important. And then the peanut gallery went after me on that. I'm really good at getting peanut gallery people after me. Um, and the peanut gallery came after me. And so and oh my God, they're like, because I was arrogant, so I was like, as an economist, anyhow, I'm good at what I do. They a guy said, so you don't think just cutting spending is more important than
Raising taxes.
and I was like, and I said, yeah, I am an economist and showed them the size of my dick. Anyhow, because I'm a member of Omicron Delta Epsilon. I am in the Honor Society of Economists. That gives me the right to say I'm an economist. Let it go, Steve. Let it go. Um, and I was like, yeah, for the record, if you want to go down that path, then Iowa is Gateway 2000 because that's how Gateway thought they were going to be successful. So if you want us to go down the Gateway 2000 path, cut all you want.
Yeah.
So, and then another person said, "Well, they just have to find some cost savings. Why can't you let?" Because there was another post about creating having experts come in, and I said, for the record, as somebody who spent my life in academia, not once has outside experts coming in to tell us how to do our job ever worked out right. And I was previously working for a place here that I can't even tell you how much money they spent on experts that came in that did no help whatsoever. Because they didn't my UAU didn't even give up on get done with one consulting group, one of the big four from America. They went on for a second one. So they were willing to pay a boatload of money.
Which they
Uh,
had.
and I'm like, yeah, nothing good came from any of those. And so what I don't know who Iowa's going to hire as an outside whatever that's going to be able to tell people in academics how to do their job better than they know how to do academics. I just
It's that whole thing about, teachers, let teachers decide what's the thing they should do.
yeah, and maybe let women decide what to do with their bodies. Maybe that could be a whole new thing for you Republicans. Let Republicans want smaller government for everything except for the things that they want to control about you.
Well, right now you're right because I just read something. Honestly, I get headlines on my watch that I read all the time from the New York Times, but I don't want to subscribe to the New York Times because I'm way too lazy. I don't want to read a whole New York Times article,
Right.
right? Give me 50 to 100 words. I don't need three columns, not column inches, three columns. I don't need a page or whatever because I'm too lazy to read all that. I'll admit. It's one of the things that I'll admit about myself. So I was not an academic. Would I like to have a PhD? Damn tootin'. Was I willing to work for it? No. I know I'm too lazy to be a PhD.
No, but you can
But
be called professor.
what's that?
You can be called professor.
Hmm. Because I profess.
No, because by the again, I have the British friends who've had to explain it to me. Anyhow, let it go, Steve. Let it go. Um, uh, it is not legitimate for you to call yourself doctor. I cannot call
Okay.
myself doctor. I can say my name is Professor Steve. I can.
And
Um,
I wondered why you didn't get a doctorate. However, I forgot the reason I went down that rabbit hole.
The
Oh, I
reason
read.
the reason I didn't get a doctorate is that I don't want to do research.
Yeah.
I just want to teach. I have no zero desire to research.
So
So
were you an instructor on the faculty?
yeah, I've had the title of instructor, senior instructor, professor, assistant professor. I've had every title you can have in the course of my career.
So you were a professor, which is the highest rank, right?
Um, no.
Assistant, associate
No.
professor.
I apologize. I shouldn't have said that. I had the title of associate professor at one time, assistant and whatever. I've never been full professor
Yeah,
anyhow,
I've been a
the
full
three
professor
levels.
because the instructor, assistant, associate, full professor. And I taught 2 years in the Department of Teaching in Northern Iowa. They didn't, I was on a 2 year term contract. They did not extend that. They let me go. Was I upset? Yeah. Do I understand why? Yeah. I wasn't cut out to be in the university faculty zeitgeist.
You make me feel better because as somebody who's been fired or let go many times, it just makes me happy to hear somebody else has had that happen to them.
Yeah. And it was a 2 year term. I mean, I guess I should have known that there was going to be a decision made in 2 years, and there was. It wasn't about, but I would never have done what I did had I stayed there because I got to do 10 years at Cedar Rapids, which was a good thing.
Yeah.
And
So
from there,
Jefferson was a
I
good
was able to
thing.
move into the association from there.
Yeah. So going to Jefferson was a good thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a good gig. Yes, it
Yeah.
was, and it
Coming
didn't
here
have
was a
the
good gig. I'm
it
happy I
didn't have
did.
the politics.
What?
It didn't have the politics.
Right. Yeah.
You know.
Um, one of the reasons why the politics in higher education is worse than the politics in the political world. It is. The neediness and the whatever. It's because these are people with PhDs making a whole lot less money than their friends who don't have PhDs. And so the pettiness and the whatever it is, the politics in higher ed is worse than politics. So,
Even in Dubai.
that's a universal thing around the world.
Okay.
So, um, you know, uh, because we all know brain dead friends who are making a lot more money than we are.
Mhm.
And so it's easy in the world of academia to be like, yeah, is getting my summer off really worth it if I'm, scrambling
Mhm.
for my retirement? And meanwhile, Joe Shim, sorry, and real guy, great guy for the record. But he's making $500,000 a year, and I'm making nowhere near $500,000 a year. So,
Well,
um,
without disclosing any pertinent or personal information, do you make more money at UAE than you would in the United States in the university's community?
oh, absolutely, absolutely, because it's tax free. You don't no, I have no problem saying any of this. I got hired here. I got hired here for the same. So I left the U.S. when I got fired from Hamilton Kaplan. I was making 55,000, and I came here making exactly the same salary, but it's tax free. So that alone
Yeah.
is great. So yeah, um,
And
but
now you want to come back.
I do, I do, and here's why I want to come back. Okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Because I'm like, well, it's a 10-hour difference right now for all your communication
no,
with
that's not why I
us.
want to come back. I want to come back because I want to get back in the fight. I
With the
can only do so much
Republicans.
from the cheap seats here. I want back in the fight.
Everybody says write to your congressman. I wrote to both Joni Ernst and Grassley once, and I got a nice form letter from Grassley telling me why everything he was doing was okay. I got nothing from Joni Ernst. I won't write to Ashley Hinson because writing is not going to change their mind.
Right.
I don't think they will ever get enough letters from Democrats to make them believe that there's a threat to their position. Although Joni, after we all die, she kind of turned tail then and said, I think I'm out of here, it appears, because that's when she announced she wasn't going to run.
Yo, yeah.
She tripped on a dare.
That Joni came to realize that her term was over. Good for her. That anyhow, she is well aware she backed the wrong dog in she by not backing Trump, her her goose was cooked. So she
Well,
realized
she
that
backs
was good for
Trump.
her.
What did
What?
she not back him on?
She didn't back him in the primary in 2024. She didn't back him in the primary. She was a DeSantis person. And so she knew the moment Trump became the nominee, Joni
Uh-huh.
Ernst's career was over.
Well, supporting Peg Hegseth was another reason to get rid of her too.
Yeah. Oh, hey, um, yeah, all those reasons. Um,
You be careful.
Hi, Linda.
Hi.
By the way, you want to do me a favor? To just, do your laundry, that's fine. If you want to do me a favor, please,
Sure.
please, please find the lyrics of Go You Chicken Fat Go. Find it
Oh,
somewhere. That is, I can 90% recall it in my memory, but it's not 100%. I
have
just,
you Googled it?
Touchdown every
every
morning.
morning, 10
That's
times, not
now
just
and
now and then. Anyhow, yes, I could do 90% of it. I can't do all of it. So that's my request of you.
we'll have to do some looking because I know we don't have the paper. That's 3 moves ago or whatever. And when I left Benton Community, I pretty much left everything paper wise. So, yeah, we'll do some checking. We'll do some checking.
Well, the great thing in the new digital world is that, this is why I'm paying Apple $40 a month because if my phone gets thrown into a river, everything that's most important to me is saved.
In the cloud.
It's in the cloud. It's in the cloud. And there's nothing in my world that goes bad if I lose everything because it's all saved there. And that's anyhow, I'm paying a ridiculous amount of money for it, but that's a thing for a different podcast.
You're making ridiculous money. When you come back to the United States, you'll get that big tax burden to support the bad guys,
Yeah,
which are doing
I'm
more and
really not
more.
a fan of Tim Cook right now. Talk about somebody who soiled his reputation on the way out the door. Because
Well,
my
but name
primary
somebody,
job. Go ahead.
name somebody who hasn't with big bucks.
Well,
I don't know. You're in
up
you're
until no, no,
in
no.
circles that I don't know, but
Up until actually, I can name you one. The Reid Hoffman of the guy who founded LinkedIn, he has not. So
or
there's
Warren Buffett
hmm?
or Warren Buffett.
Or Warren Buffett. Yeah, yeah, yeah. There are some genuinely good people out there. The reason Tim Cook so disappoints me the most is that I teach supply chain. And if there's somebody who rewrote the whole book of supply chain, it is Tim Cook. I literally force my students to learn the story of Apple and what Tim Cook did to keep Apple out of bankruptcy and why Steve Jobs, who was the creative guy, didn't choose John Ivey to be his replacement because John was Steve's spiritual brother. But Steve realized that for the shareholders of Apple moving forward, it was better to have Tim Cook as his replacement. And so Tim Cook without a doubt, rewrote the book of supply chain for the whole world.
Well, two things I want to touch on is the 1.75, but a comment on Apple, and that is that Apple's a great machine. Apple owned the school
Yeah,
market,
that was a Steve Jobs thing. That was his idea.
but they gave it up
Yep. Yeah.
when
And
everything was proprietary. It was too easy to go to Microsoft. You still
yeah,
have Apple Labs because they like the graphics and so forth. There are things that there's still Apple Labs in schools, but they could have owned the school market to today in greater uh, quantity, but they blew it.
yep, they blew it.
Or
They
they
totally
made
blew
they
it.
made a decision that didn't let that happen.
No. They fired Steve Jobs for good reasons. And then it was after Steve Jobs was out that they blew it on that. And so they brought Steve Jobs back in. Steve came back to Apple a little bit smarter than he was when he left Apple. And literally the first thing he did in coming back to Apple was hiring Tim Cook.
Who
So
kisses Trump's ass now?
yeah, and so yeah, the man who grew up gay in rural Alabama in the 1960s
I don't know his story, but that's
I know
pretty
that
regressive.
is the story. And so when Apple, everything Apple says about privacy, and people get worked up about, do they really mean is this a marketing thing? I'm like, no. This is a guy who grew up gay in Alabama in the 1960s. So when he says privacy is Apple's number one priority, it's that's the product of growing up gay in Alabama in the 1960s.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
um, yeah.
Returning
Anyway,
to your
back to
1.75.
the education. You want to talk about the 1.75. You want to talk about that.
Well,
We've only
just a
got
comment
we're gonna
because
be done in just a few minutes because I already got the 10-minute warning. So letting you know
okay,
when this meeting's over, it's over. So it's okay.
yeah, I look forward to coming back. We'll have to get together and we'll make a regular lunch date or whatever
Yeah.
around your work.
No, no, no.
The hypocrisy they
Thursdays
were.
with Mike is gonna happen. So this is whether I'm there or not. Next Thursday we're talking. So
You're,
you just get ready, old man. That's your.
I'll not take offense at old man. It's true. Um, the hypocrisy of the Republicans just kills me because they want to run on the fact that we've raised funding for education every year. Yeah, I can donate a penny a year to some cause and say I donate to whatever cause that is annually.
Yeah.
It's nothing. 1.75 is well less than the cost of living. It could be higher, but they've done the ESAs, which a local parochial school, the church I go to, is doing very well now. Not greatly, but it's certainly improved their financial picture because they have the ESA, the educational funding, right? The whatever the hell you call it, the savings account that you can donate to get that to go to a private school. But it hurts public education because there are millions of dollars that could be going to public education that aren't. But we've created a thing where teachers don't have any respect. Why should we give them more? We give them 1.75, let them cut jobs. Your whole thing about, well, can't they just fire some people?
Yeah.
There could be some there, but you can't necessarily fire your way into profitability, which
Never.
is another discussion we
No,
can
no.
have.
I mean, no, no. The answer is literally never. It's never been successful. There's not a single example in the history of business of which that worked ever.
Well, I'd like
So,
to talk to you about that because the association, when I was with Thespians Educational Theater Association, I won't get into the financial picture, is not good.
mhm.
Not good. In fact, years of negative ending balances that even huge influxes of cash contributions have not been able to offset. But I think they could improve their picture if they looked at how they staffed and what they were paying people.
Yeah.
But
You know,
it's not gonna make up the total, but it could decrease it some.
um, I
But that's my own
I'm
beef.
available as a consultant. And for the record,
You
that's been I'm joking, but I'm not joking. I have done it, and I have helped several businesses. So I'm not just
well, you
so
want to get that gig for tax purposes because
no.
I still oh
I,
yeah, when
I
you get here, because
there are some things I'm willing to do pro bono.
but you may want to even pro bono because I still call myself a theater consultant and give my tax form on there. When I go to New York, I take that
Sure, of course,
trip off my
of
taxes.
course.
And I show huge losses every year because I only judge speech contests like 4 or 5 times a year and don't
Right.
make a whole lot of money.
Yeah.
But I do
Yeah.
the other because that's my training, and that gig helps with tax purposes. So,
Yeah. Um,
and if you do
uh,
it pro bono, maybe there's a way to take that as a donation. Although they have raised the standard deduction now to the point that you really have to do huge amounts of donation.
again, I may not live in the US, but I follow tax law very closely. This is
Yeah.
what I do for a living, so I do. Yeah, yeah.
Since you're moving
It's a
back into it,
bizarre
it's
world,
good to know.
but
Yeah.
yeah. Anyhow, that's the so my German. Anyhow, my sister Miriam has a German clone here in the UAE. I didn't even realize that my love for Doris. I didn't realize my connection to Doris until Miriam came to visit, and the two of them were in the same room together, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is how I." Yeah. Anyhow, Doris is fluent in 5 languages. Unbelievable to me. Okay. Uh, but doing doing a spreadsheet that took me 30, she spent dozens of hours creating a spreadsheet for a proposal for anyhow for a grant proposal. The same job I want anyhow. Let that go, Steve. She spent dozens of hours, and I could do it in 30 minutes. I got it done for her in 30 minutes. So I was like, and she's like, how do you know how to do that? And I'm like, hey, for me, this is easy. Your ability to speak 5 languages, that's way more exciting than what I know how to do.
Do you speak any Arabic? Is Arabic the local language?
Purposefully do not. Purposefully. Because I know in America, it was difficult for me not to swear in front of my classes, which if teaching at the collegiate level, yeah, the F-bomb went multiple times. Let that go, Steve. Here, I don't want to know any of the swear. I don't want to know anything. It makes my life easier. I know how to say thank you. I know how to do basic things like that. I have no desire to learn anything more in Arabic, because it's not my thing, number one. And number two, it makes my life easier not to know.
You at least speak English pretty much.
Oh, this place is English. It is not in the UAE, it's not Arabic as a second, it's not English as a second language, it's Arabic as a second language. Maybe even third, because
We found
Urdu
that
is
true
spoken more
in
than
a lot of Europe.
yeah, yeah. So
Urdu. Yeah.
it's absolutely universal. Absolutely universal.
Yeah,
It's
we found that Norway, English,
yeah,
Estonia, they said nobody's learning Estonian. They don't speak English.
right,
Uh,
right, right.
maybe a cab driver, no, but
That's like
most
that's
of
why
them.
when MAGA's like anyhow the notion of blah 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 America first whatever when it comes to the language of the world, the battle's over. It's English. It's not Chinese. Teaching your child Chinese is stupid. English won that battle thanks to America, not thanks to the Brits. I have a big chip on my shoulder about the Brits that live in this country, not the Brits in England, the Brits who live in this country. The Brits in England are awesome. The Brits in this country, the number of times I wanted to punch them. So in our last moments here, because the other thing that I'm really good at is accreditation, and so when the UE decided to go for accreditation, when my university decided to go for accreditation, they chose the third best accreditor for colleges. Anyhow, they did. They didn't go for the premium one. They didn't go for the second one. They went for the third one. Um,
Strange with all the money there, but okay.
no, 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 no. They went for the one that they went for the best one that they could get, that they just knew that they could pay enough money that no matter what, they're going to get the accreditation. Okay? Um, where was I going with this? So anyhow, they came, they did the dog and pony show, it's all done. They have that accreditation. I don't know where I was going with the story. What were we talking about just before that? What was the
We're just saying accreditation.
Yeah, but just before that. This is
English language.
English,
You
English,
hate the
English. Oh, the
Brits.
Brits, the
The
Brits,
Brits.
the Brits, the Brits, the Brits. Because there's nothing I enjoy more than insulting the Brits to their face. I love it. And when it was announced that they were bringing in American accreditation, because the Brits wanted us to go for a British accreditation, and so when they announced they were going for an American accreditation, one guy very, very publicly said, "So we're all gonna have to talk with a Texas accent now?" And I was, oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. Oh, the Brits here, the UAE is a form, the UAE used to be called the Trucial States. And so the Brits here feel like they're still the colonizers that they once were. And they are upset that they don't have that power anymore.